that Maeve. Alright, and that could ring or anything, but that won't matter.
Okay.
Oh, do I have that?
Just before, sorry,
Yeah.
I am on yard duty, but I know it's ages away anyway, so it's not till, don't need to leave till 10:20, so I know that's close.
Perfect. Oh, yeah, we'll be well done.
Yeah,
So
just
thanks for
wanted
letting me know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. What am I doing? Okay, Maeve, thanks so much for agreeing to be part of this study. I'm really, really grateful. So Maeve, would you mind telling me a bit about your career to date and maybe your motivations to work in this school in particular?
So I graduated in 2012 from Mary I in Limerick, and I did a B.Ed, and after that I worked for a little while at home in County Galway, mostly in Catholic primary schools, and then I decided to come to Dublin in 2014 and I got a job here in Scoil at the time I didn't really know very much about CNSs or about Scoil in general. It was a total new and fresh start. As part of the B.Ed we didn't get much information on community national schools. It was mostly focused on teaching in like a Catholic school. So, it was all very new, and I started here and I've worked here now for the last almost 8 years, and I taught first class, third class, fifth class, and now I'm in sixth class.
Brilliant. And did anything in particular, was Scoil like most people I've interviewed so far, because I've just been around other people who've worked in the model, and it was for me, it was, as I told you, it was kind of, I got a permanent job.
Yeah.
I got interested in it after arriving, but I wasn't necessarily seeking out a multi-school. Were you?
Yeah, similar to you. No, I wasn't. I came up, I just wanted a job at the time. I wanted to live in Dublin, and I was lucky enough to get an interview here. I do remember coming for the interview and thinking, the place was, very new, very fresh, very welcoming, all of that. But I was just happy to get a job, and then after that, then the multi-D side of it kind of came into it.
Very good.
And as I said, just because college, it wasn't really mentioned at the time, multi-D teaching at all. Yeah. So
and I was the same. I'm from Knock. I went to St. Louis, a community school, which is very Catholic, St. Pat's. So then I taught in a Catholic school as well. So it was diverse. But I had no real appreciation for it, I think, until I came to the CNS model. But anyway, so look, it's interesting. So I think, I'm not sure if you agree, but what is supposed to differentiate one school type from another, like a Catholic school that we would have worked into to this school type, a community national school, to an educated together school, is its ethos. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's a thing?
I agree. I do agree. I do think that, in primary schools, like a lot of the ethoses would be similar in that, everybody is welcome, everybody is respected, everybody is treated with, dignity and respect and all of that. But at the end of the day, the ethos of the community national school is that we accept everybody, children of all faiths and none, secular beliefs, religious beliefs, all types of backgrounds. Whereas I do think in, denominational schools, they're a little bit more segregated in that they, their teaching and everything, it centres around, I suppose, the faith programme of the school. Whereas here, it's all very broad, so that all the children feel that they're included and, that their needs are being met as well in an equal way.
And did you feel, in the schools that you taught in that were Catholic, was there any diversity in those schools? Did you ever no?
Very little. It was rural County Galway,
right, so it was appropriate. The ethos.
It was appropriate. There were a couple, but very, very few children that weren't part of the Catholic religion at the time.
Yeah. And Maeve, that term ethos, we talk about it quite a bit, but what does it mean? What does it mean to you, or what's your understanding of it?
I suppose to me it means the spirit of the school and the feeling you get when you walk into the school. I mentioned when I came for an interview how I did feel very welcome, and everybody was very friendly, and I could see the diversity as I looked around, and I just felt that it was a very welcoming place. And I think that that's the ethos, and then that filters down then through to the teaching and learning as well.
Is it a purpose? Is it just something that just happens, or is it something that people have to work on, or is that just an organic thing, or is it something that has to be kind of worked on?
Perhaps a little bit of both. That it does obviously buy in from staff, first of all, but I think it does need to be worked on, through policy and through the subjects, and it comes, of course, down from management as well. The way management are deal with staff and parents and outside school community, and I think that filters down then to others, and how if you are treated in one way you'll treat others in that way as well. So I do think that it is it has to be taught as well, or throughout the school.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've spoken a bit about so that's ethos being the spirit and so on. So, and the CNS one in particular, how would you describe it? Somebody asked you, if your friends, or I'm just asking you now, like, well, what is different? I teach in a Catholic school, or I teach in an Educate Together school, and this is what the ethos is about. What would you say is the ethos of the CNS?
Well, I suppose, first of all, in terms of enrolment, that everybody is accepted. There's no stipulations about, you have to be part of a certain religion, or you have a higher chance of getting in if you're in a part of a certain religion. Also that, we celebrate diversity in the school, and everyone is equal, and that, that's made ensured as well that the children understand that. But at the same time, diversity is seen as something positive, and that difference is celebrated. And it's, the children are taught to think that, everyone brings something different to the table, and to respect that and to value that as well. We can learn from one another.
And so, what does that look like in your classroom? Maybe all through like, is there something that you have to do to make that happen?
Well, I suppose, like, when you come into any of the classrooms, I suppose straight away you can see the diversity in the room, and at the start of the year we talk a lot about respect for one another, equality, all of that, and then through day-to-day teaching, I feel that, like, in SCSE and areas like that, I'd place a lot of emphasis on asking the children for their own experience. So, countries they've been to, if we're studying countries around the world, and what their experiences are. Have they been born in other countries? Do they have family in other countries?
Yeah.
All those kinds of things. And then, of course, GMGY, then our patron program, that is so important then, and also, helping us to live out the ethos, I suppose, in the classroom as well, through all the different strands and activities that we do as part of GMGY.
Yeah, and I'm very interested what you said there around, sometimes people get really overwhelmed by the thought of teaching in such a diverse school. Well, now I've become an expert on all these nationalities, all these traditions, all these religions. But I think what you're saying there, and I want, is, well, you're just drawing on.
Oh, definitely. I'm from rural area in County Galway. I don't really know much about the outside world apart from the holidays I've been on and things like that. So the children, when it comes to teaching about diversity and different places and things like that, it's the children that have the wealth of knowledge, because they have the experiences of the countries or the cultures or the religious practices in GMGY or things like that. So definitely really important to draw on the children's own experiences for that.
Sorry, I'm roasting.
Right.
Sorry,
Quite warm.
A jumper.
Brilliant.
So, maybe you've taught in a Catholic school, and I just had a question here around. No, actually, let's have a look here. Would you have any idea or any perception of how the CNSE class might differ from the, say, Educate Together one?
Well, I've never taught in an Educate Together in national school, but as far as I'm aware, they would be quite similar in that they're both multi-D schools. But I think the one difference is that maybe they do segregate children in relation to religious beliefs outside of school. I know they do run classes after school in the evenings where they take a group of Catholic children, Muslim children, all that. And I do think that might cause, I would imagine, a little bit of segregation, amongst the children in a class. Think, oh, he belongs to that group, she belongs to this other group. Whereas here, all of the tuition is done during the school day. Again, the children have the opportunity to share their experiences in terms of religious or secular beliefs, and then that allows everyone to, I suppose, see each other's values and beliefs, but also to respect that. And okay, he thinks something different or she believes something different, but that's okay, and to respect that. So I'd imagine that as part of being a CNS, that it is a bit more inclusive in that way.
And do you see, you referenced GMGY there in terms of how, so GMGY, we just say it's the kind of nearly curricular expression of the ethos. So it's kind of like character, so it's in a book, I suppose, what the ethos is.
Exactly.
So how do you think GMGY supports you in living out that ethos?
So I suppose when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about maybe two strands in particular. So the We Are CNS one, first of all. Since I come back in September, we've done a lot of that strand, so talking to the children about what a community national school is and talking to them about the ethos of the school and inclusion and equality and all of that. And then that led into our student council elections more recently. So I think that was a great opportunity, again, for allowing the children to speak and have their voice heard, and also to give them the opportunity to make decisions in the school going forward, and to have their voice heard by senior management as well. And then I suppose the other strand I was thinking about was beliefs and religions. So obviously, as part of that, the children get to hear all about different types of religions and secular beliefs as well,
Yeah.
and what the practices are around certain